everyone, and welcome to the Three Whisketeers. We have our angel-haired hipster, Curtis, here, our happy Honduran, Eddie, and my name is DJ Dadbod, aka Jamie. And today, we have, how do you like to start? Would you like to talk about the reason that we're here?
Well, the reason that we're here is so you guys can drink all my whiskey.
The good whiskey.
Only the best whiskey. But, I'd like to say that I did bring this whiskey in.
Which I gave to you.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And you know so much about it. Why don't you talk about it for a few minutes?
Well, this is Weller Special Reserve. It is a wonderful, exceptional whiskey. It's hard to come by, at least where we're from. Well, it's hard to come by everywhere. It usually sells out really fast. It comes from Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace, there isn't anything that Buffalo Trace has made that I've tasted that isn't just fantastic. Wonderful distillery, wonderful people. So Weller comes out in several different versions. There's the Antique Collection, which is really expensive and unbelievably hard to get. Then there is like the 107, and there's the 12-year, and there's a new one coming out, BYO. I don't know. It's something.
So why is this called Reserve?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Just the name they gave it?
I guess it's the name they gave it.
Okay. So what is it exactly?
It is a bourbon.
Okay, but it...
And how many years does this sit in the barrel?
I think this one... bourbon is required to sit at least 2 years in a barrel. This is probably sitting a little bit longer.
Okay. So can I see that? Okay, so this is Weller, and this is the original wheated bourbon special reserve. So what I like to do, I just like to read the back sometimes. So it tells us what they think we're supposed to taste.
Well, William Weller, back in 1840s, bought a distribution and distillery, and he was reputed as the first person to actually make bourbon with wheat instead of rye as a secondary malt.
Okay.
And it made it a lot more smoother, a lot sweeter, just more wonderful, generally all around wonderful whiskey. And I really like it. It's one of my favorites. It's really one of my favorites. When I can get it, I usually buy a case at a time.
Okay.
And a lot of people do that and try to sell it. I do it to drink it.
Well,
okay, we also have something else going on. We have food. We got pizza from Fong's Pizza. It's in the Newbo area in Cedar Rapids. We're kind of excited because they're kind of like a fusion type place. And today we are having egg roll pizza and cheese pizza for those who are boring. Because some of us can't have stuff that's fun.
Yes, 2 of us in the room are vegetarians.
so like to minimize their animal product
And
consumption.
one of the 2 is behind the camera, and I'm about to hand him a nice glass of Weller.
Cheers.
That's Bern.
That is Bern. We call him Bertanian because he is the 4th member of our Three Whisketeers membership. So, how come the glasses are shaped this way?
Oh, that's a good question.
This is a Glenclaren glass.
A what?
Glenclaren glass.
Okay.
And you're going to say, why is it called a Glenclaren
Yeah,
glass?
why is it called that?
Actually, it was originally made by a firm in Scotland, Glenclaren Limited,
Okay.
who produced glass products.
Okay.
And this was designed to be used in tastings and also more often in the places where they analyze the whiskey when they're trying to figure out whether it's ready to go or how they're going to blend it.
Okay. So
And
now,
the vapors come up like they do in a brandy sniffer and out this area,
the brandy sniffer.
so you can get a lovely nose before
the
you try
brandy
it.
sniffer.
You can look at the beautiful color, just like you were looking at wine, and a lovely nose. Opinions?
Well, I think it's fresher than most bourbons. Obviously, it's just a reserve. It's not aged for like 10 years. But I really like how smooth it is, even though it gives you a little kick right at the end. Could you pass that bottle? So, what I like to do, I like to read the back.
What should I be tasting?
What should we be tasting here? It says, this delicate bourbon with hints of caramel and honey honors one of America's first whiskey's pioneers. So,
Well,
caramel, I see.
I sense myself floral notes, and I think the wheat gives it a more fruity flavor. Yes, there's definitely that wonderful sweetness of caramel.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I do taste the caramel and the oak, just everything else except for the honey. I just don't see where the honey is coming from.
Well, the sweetness,
But
the caramel
I
sweetness.
think maybe, do you think they mean honey as honey, or do you mean honey as sweetness?
They probably mean honey as honey.
Okay.
Everybody tastes things a little bit differently.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get a good caramel
So
taste.
what is the proper way to drink this? Okay, so we're taking this, and then we're taking it to the nose. Okay, and then is there a proper way to take this in?
Most people
Most people
put it to their lips and tilt the glass
take
back.
the glass and then get smashed. Okay.
And then the whiskey flows into their mouth, and they taste it, and then they swallow it. Now, if you have another way to taste whiskey, I'd love to hear about it.
Information from you first that we're supposed to smell it and then take it as we're smelling it. Just
Yep, I don't know that much about how to drink whiskey other than just taking shots. So
yeah,
I
me
kind of
neither.
need to. I don't know for viewers.
Because
at
usually
home.
I just
would know
grab
it either.
something like this. I'm like, oh yeah, it looks really nice.
This isn't something you would just buy to do shots with. This is take it home, enjoy it in
It's
a glass
done.
like
It's
this.
finished.
Well, where we come from, it's about $19 a bottle. So if it was readily available, yeah, you could do shots with it. I mean, thing is, in the secondary market a week later, it's $120 a bottle because it's just really hard to come by. Now, the wonderful, spectacular news, at least I think it's spectacular, it's going to affect you more than me because I'll probably be dead by the time it happens.
He's gonna be dead after this show probably.
7 million barrels. Buffalo Trace put up 7 million barrels last week. So that tells me that there's going to be more Weller, there's going to be more wonderful things coming from Buffalo Trace because they've got more there. So
It'll
maybe
be a few years. Then
it'll be a
till it
few years, yeah. But hopefully, there won't be as much of a shortage. I think there always will be a high desirability to get this. People realized how good Buffalo Trace was, and it's just really hard to come by. So
Yeah, I really enjoy this, and this is something that kind of brought us together because we really didn't know what is good and what is.
This is what started us.
Yeah, this is what started us. We've had other different brands like Maker's Mark or Jim Beam, and this is something that's just kind of special. It's just a little bit different than those mainstream companies, I guess. But now we're gonna have some pizza, and I'm gonna pass this to Jamie because he's gonna have the first slice. And
Is
this
it
is supposed
cut?
to be the egg roll.
Is it cut?
I think it's cut. I think they cut it and then they put the chips on top. Yeah, it's cut. Come on, dude.
Go ahead. Break it open.
Okay, I'll
Rip it.
rip it, man, rip it. So it's thin sliced.
Oh, it is.
And here,
It is
bring your
cut
plate over
real
here.
small
Oh
pieces.
my gosh.
cheese is pretty wonderful.
That's great.
I really like the whole wheat crust down there.
That's awesome.
Okay, so
I guess when your taste is limited, you gotta really bug down and see what you really like about it. I like the crust.
So you said
like
that
the cheese.
they're going to up production on this, and in a few years this will be more mainstream. We're catching it early.
but they have 7 million barrels in the warehouse now, and 7 million barrels tells me that they're getting serious about making more, so there will be more out there and available. Yeah, so every year I go on a mad hunt for Weller. Fortunately, the last few years, a couple of the places that I deal with around here, like Ben's in Cedar Rapids and Iowa City,
John's Grocery.
John's Grocery in Iowa City, they've bought barrels, and then they're going to bring bottles specially in for their establishments. And I've been able to find out soon enough that I've been able to call them up and say, hey guys, I want a case, if not two. And I've been able to secure it. And you think, oh, well, that's pretty greedy. you know, a bottle of Weller doesn't last that long. And one of the wonderful things about whiskey is sharing. And I will give bottles of Weller to people who really don't have a lot of experience with whiskey, and they'll see how good whiskey really can be.
Yeah, that was me. That's what I wanted to start this and learn. And get away from just mainstream.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I
Whiskeys.
never even thought bourbon whiskey was something that's like special, because I've always liked cognacs and just different.
And another thing I like to do is go cruising, go driving around to different towns, bigger cities and stuff, and try to find little gems. And I always call you up lately and, hey, should I get this one or should I get that one? It's kind of like being a toy collector or a comic book collector.
That one sucks.
Finding rare ones and bringing them home and trying them out.
Well, rare to Iowa.
Uh-huh.
That's what she said.
To our viewers, Iowa has a liquor commission, and they decide what's brought into the state, so we can't always get everything that we want. They do a pretty good job, but, you know, there are things that I really wish I could get my hands on that I can't. Now, back to...
Like?
Well, for example, my son was born in 1992, and I found a bottle that was actually put in the barrel on the same day that he was born. And I wanted to get that for his 25th birthday. And I was unable to get that for the 25th birthday because I was unable to get it sent to Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
When I originally tried to get it, it was like $75 a bottle direct. But they wouldn't ship it to Iowa because of Iowa liquor laws. So then I tried to get it on the secondary market through other means.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get it, we're looking at $500 a bottle. I don't got that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jamie, you asked, what should I be looking for when I taste whiskey?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, one thing you should be looking for is just like with wine. You look at it in the glass, you see its color, you appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You smell it before you taste it. Let those fumes fill up your sinuses, and then you take a sip and you let it sit on your palate. That's the first taste. Second taste fills up your mouth with all these wonderful flavors that you can analyze for your own little tiny mind.
Okay.
And then you swallow it, and then there's an aftertaste. Now, almost every
Who knows
whiskey...
about this?
Almost every whiskey, well, it's just exactly the same thing you would do with a wine. The exception to that was right behind Jamie, there's a bottle of Delmore 12. Grab it. Delmore 12. And I found it had 4 distinctive flavors. The thing of what I really liked about it was each flavor got better. First, second, third, and final.
Mm-hmm.
They all got better, and I really like that.
Yeah, and you know, I agree with you. There'll be some times where I smell something and it's, you know, it has a distinctive smell. I like it, I don't like it, whatever. But the first taste is usually, sometimes it's not something I like. And then the second taste, it gets better and better and better until it kind of grows on me. And I think this is the problem with people. They have one tasting and then they're like, they shoot it down and they're like, okay, it's really not that great. It's something you have to kind of taste and appreciate. Like, the more sips, the more your palate is going to get acclimated with what it is, and then it's just going to be a lot better experience. My opinion. So really, I've had a bottle of what is it? Yellowstone, and I hated it when I first had it, and then
Yellowstone?
Yeah, yep. I hated the first shot I had. I thought it was boring, but as I had more and more of it, I got acclimated to it and I started to appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. I still don't think it's worth what the price is, but it's definitely something I would love to buy on sale.
Which you did, as I remember.
Which I did. $20
because I was
off.
there, $20 off. That was quite a sale.
Now, I've
sale.
heard some people ask this question before, that if they leave it in the bottle unopened and they let it sit for years, is it still aging?
No.
It only ages in the barrel.
It ages in the barrel. It stays the way it is in the bottle. Well, there will be some evaporation, of course, because no seal is perfect. Mm-hmm. And I've seen bottles that, unopened bottles that are 100 years old, that are, evaporation has caused through the cork, and
So
There's
it's
less
almost
in the bottle.
It's almost wasted then.
Well,
It's
let's call, it
changed
the,
it. Everything.
let's call it the Angel share. But I think the Angels get their share when it's being made and they don't need any more. Yeah.
So do you think when somebody buys something like this, you think they should buy a special cork for them if the seal is kind of like this one? Because I find that when it doesn't have a cork...
I think when you buy Weller and you open it,
Mhm.
you're going to drink it before you have to worry about that problem.
Okay.
A lot of whiskeys I have up here, it's Bibb and Tucker up here. Comes with a really neat cork. It's a beautiful bottle.
Mhm.
I didn't have the corking quite far enough, and about half the bottle evaporated away before I had a chance to really drink it. And that was kind of disappointing, but it was my own stupidity for not pushing the cork in further.
Okay.
So, but for the most part, I think this is perfectly adequate. You don't need to get anything special.
Okay. Because the reason I'm saying this is because my cork, my cap for Weller was just not the greatest. And I actually used a cap from a
Are
different
you
bottle.
afraid you're going to spill it?
No,
If not untight enough?
it was not designed very well. Now this one looks like it seals fine, but the one I had didn't. So I don't know. But like some of them come with a plastic one, which is fine. It just didn't feel like it was sealed.
Well, as I remember, that bottle didn't last long anyway, did it?
No, it did not long. It did not last long.
I think that
It
was
was
my point,
fantastic.
wasn't
And
it?
actually, Curtis let me have another one for the very small price, and it was fantastic. And that one is also gone.
So I think you just made your case.
But I did share it. Okay.
Oh, I was going to pour some more.
Yeah, you're still got plenty.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you trying? Okay, so Curtis, what do you think about this pizza, dude?
I like it.
Okay, you say you like the wheat and you
The
like
wheat
the
crust.
cheese, the wheat crust.
Yeah, this is not their wheat crust. The wheat crust is really good.
Okay.
Wheat
maybe next
crusts
time
are
we'll-
really hard to make well, and they do a really good job.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know we're gonna do something else with Fong's Pizza, so maybe we'll get the wheat crust this next time.
Good. Does the whiskey pair well with it?
Yeah, I think it did amount, but
So obviously it did.
it did. I had,
Yeah, I think you pair very well with it because this is sweet, and obviously bourbon is sweet, but this is a light, a lighter sweetness.
oh yeah, that has like the sweet and sour sauce with it.
Yeah.
So it might be a good choice with the sweeter
It was.
bourbon.
I think it was. And you know, and it's not too sweet because it's got plenty of crust and you know, it's kind of like eating crackers a little bit.
Exactly like eating crackers with that one. So
And
do we
we
have
love crackers.
anything else to add to this then?
I guess tune into our next show, which we have no idea when or what it's about.
Okay. Well, I brought in the bottle, so it's my turn to say. Don't forget to click like and hit the subscribe button at the end of the video, and we'll have a link to some of Burns' music, hopefully.